Hi guys, and welcome to my video of the unboxing of the Sony PlayStation Vita. If, like me, you've been watching the unravelling of the device recently, you'll be extremely excited to see what's just in the box. One of the best offers at the moment is with Amazon.co.uk, where you can pick up the Wi-Fi version, which, as you can see, this is, along with an 8GB memory card, which in terms of actually using, you're going to need one. So I would advise that 8GB is probably the minimum you want to get, and looking into the future I'd probably want to pick a bigger card up as and when the price drops or I get more games. Also included in the price was a selection of games, and you pick one, and the one I picked up was Rayman Origins. I believe FIFA's on there as well. So for the price of £232, I think it's very reasonable, considering the RRP of the device was just the device on its own was £230 pre-launch. Okay, before I get into the unboxing, just to have a quick look at the game itself. As you can see, it's a fairly light and small and compact box. If you compare that to a PlayStation 3 box, you can see not only is it thinner, it's shorter, it's slimmer and lighter. Obviously this goes in hand with a portable device. The card itself, as you can see, is similar in size to an SD card. The memory card, which is a big surprise for me, is tiny. Obviously there's been a lot of debate on the internet, and a lot of people, I think, felt frustrated that we had to go out and buy an additional memory card. There was no system memory that you could save your games to, or SD cards being available to use on the system. Even a micro SD card, would have been helpful, and a lot of people have got them now with mobile phones. So it's a bit frustrating that you have to fork out the extra for the memory card. As I say, if you can pick up a bundle, then it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But 8GB really is the minimum you want to be going for. In terms of the box itself, let's not beat about the bush, and let's have a look what's inside. So first off, there's a quick start guide, and if, like me, you're too eager to get hold of the device, you'll sling the start guide. We've also got the AR should I say, play cards for augmented reality. Now just have a quick look at these cards. You get 6 cards in total, and the idea is that those cards will be placed on the table, and the use of the camera on the PS Vita would enable you to have fun with some augmented reality games. I've actually been lucky enough to try out a couple of games on a friend's system, and I have to say they're rather fun, and I actually really enjoyed them. So they'll keep an eye out. We'll do an update and a review on some of the games at a later date, and the augmented realities games will be some of those games we'll look at. In terms of what else is in the box, you obviously got the power cord. Nothing unusual there. Sort of transformer box, which power cord goes in one end, and then what looks like a USB port in the other, which would be this card. So USB would go into there. The other end would be, as a proprietary connection, it looks like, would go into the PS Vita. Now, at least they've stuck to a standardized format with a USB port at one end, so you should be able to charge the PS Vita from a USB device, such as a laptop, PS3 system, etc. So that's good news. Let's park them for a moment. There's the Vita. Before I look into that, what else have we got in the box? Safety guide and a manual. No doubt the manual will be fairly limited, and that's not such a bad thing. Most of the things that you'll be doing on the Vita will be self-explanatory. Without further ado, And the PS Vita. First impressions are that it's fairly light. It's a little bit lighter than I thought it'd be actually. I don't think that's such a bad thing, you know, if you're going to be travelling, you're going to have it in your backpack or wherever, you know, you don't want to be weighed down. I think the 3G version is a little bit heavier because of the technology that's inside, but overall, the device feels fairly sturdy and, you know, quite happy with that actually. Let's have a quick look at the controls then. First off, you'll notice the D-pad. Very familiar to anyone that's used the PlayStation and other portable games. Console, should I say. The difference really with this version is that the D-pad is now on a single kind of roller. So there's no individual D-pad selection for your directional buttons. I have to point out the analog sticks, which there are now 2 of. I hear everybody shout and rejoice because, as we all know, it gives you better control and it allows you to do a number of things on some of the games that we see now, shooters and etc. You know, you generally use this to pan the camera, so it's a much well received functionality. The nubs, rather than them being sort of the nubs that are on the PSP, they are actually and do feel a bit more like more of a true sort of analog stick, which is great news. And I think from what I understand they're quite sensitive as well, so you'll get some good control out of them. They're a little bit smaller than I thought they'd be, but hopefully as time goes on it shouldn't be too much of an issue. You can also see the little grill to the left of the stick there is one of the speakers, and the other speaker on that side. Going back to the left hand side, you've got obviously the Sony brand at the top. Underneath is the Sony PS button. You're all familiar with that from a PlayStation 3 perspective. Slightly indented, which is good news, so you don't sort of knock it whilst you're playing your games. Onto the other side, again you've got a select and a start button, and again they're slightly dented as well so that you don't slip off and press them accidentally. Obviously they're similar buttons that you all know and love from PlayStation, quite small actually, but it doesn't feel too small, if you know what I mean. Next to the main buttons you can see is the actual camera. That's a forward facing camera. I'm hoping that we're going to be starting to see apps such as Skype coming out that will make full use of the camera. On the top of the device we've got the shoulder buttons. Again, they feel fairly sturdy. The one thing to note is obviously you've not got 2 shoulder buttons as you have on a DualShock. Sony have integrated a touch panel on the back so that for games that probably need a couple of buttons around the back, the top, you'll find that a lot of them will be using the touch panel at the back. So this is going to offer some different uses of play, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out of the developers in future games. You've also got at the top, if you can see that, is the rear camera. Not only can you use that for taking photos, and now with new firmware you can record video, but it'll be used mainly for the augmented reality games that I spoke about earlier. Obviously the biggest point to note is the touch screen on the front, an OLED touch screen, 5 inches, and as I said, when I've had a chance to have a look at it, I'll get a video uploaded and you'll be able to see the how vibrant and just how impressive the OLED screen is actually. Just as a comparison, I've got here an iPhone, and if you put the two together, the touchscreen is probably just a tiny bit bigger than the iPhone. So you get to understand that it's a fairly big screen, and can't wait to get used to using it. As I said before, it's touchscreen as well, so I'm hoping we're going to see some good games coming out of the back of it. Onto the top of the device, next to the left shoulder button, you've got the power button. You've also got this slot here, which, if for your games. The next port, if I can get into it, there we go. I'm not 100% sure what that is going to be used for in terms of the connection. I know it's not the charging port because that's underneath, so it'll be interesting to see what that'll be used for in the future. And then next to those two ports you've got your volume button, or should I say buttons. Underneath you've got your charging port, so going back to this here, the proprietary system there will clip in place there, and that's going to allow you to not only connect it up to the PS3 but also charge the device itself. So if you have got a PS3, you're going to be wanting to copy content etc to your device, you'd be using that port and that cable as well. Headphone socket, if anyone ordered the pre-order pack you would get a set of headphones included. Most people have got some shape or form of headphones lying around, so they'll probably want to use their own. If you have, and you've got one that's got a mic, then great, because then you can use your mic on your headphones to chat. This has got a microphone on actually, so when you're playing games online with your friends etc you can also chat to them. The only other port we've got underneath now is this small one in the corner, which is for the memory card. Okay, so all in all, sturdy device, lighter than expected, but I can't wait to get to grips with it, have a little play, and there'll be more reviews back on here at a later date. I'll be looking at the not only the system, the operating system, some of the apps that are available on the store, some of the downloads, the games. I'll also be looking at the functionality as an audio player, for music, and for a few videos as well, just to give you an overview on how it looks and feels. I'll also, in future videos, I'll be looking at some of the games that are available now. Probably one of the first reviews I'll do will be on Rayman. Can't wait to get myself stuck into that. I've also got a number of downloadable games already waiting on my PlayStation 3 to transfer across, so again I'll give you some reviews on those. Point to note really, I'm not going to be